Don't let your mind hold you back from success. It is not a far-off, mysterious treasure that is buried deep in the forest and can only be discovered by a select few exceptional individuals. It is not inaccessible to those who are fortunate, affluent, or extraordinarily brilliant. For the majority of people, the most significant barrier that stands between where they are and where they want to go is not their circumstances. Rather, it is their mentality that is the most significant hurdle. Additionally, if you do not learn to master it, your mind will subtly, deftly, and persistently sabotage any of your efforts to move forward. It is the mental cage that is comprised of fear, uncertainty, insecurity, and self-limiting ideas that is the most deadly prison. The prison that you are not even aware you are living in is the most dangerous. As we grow up, we are exposed to a variety of subliminal signals, including the notion that we are not good enough, that failure is a source of shame, and that success is reserved for other people. These messages can mold our inner voice over time. We find ourselves second-guessing, criticizing, and holding back as a result of this constant commentary that we have in our brains. At some point, you will no longer require resistance from the outside world since your ideas will handle all of the gatekeeping. There is a beginning. You have a dream, which could be to start a business, change occupations, relocate to a different place, or simply live a more genuine life. But as soon as that desire begins to grow, the fear begins to as well. The thought, "What if I fail?" floods your thoughts with a lot of questions. What if that makes people laugh? One can ask, what if I'm not cut out for this? You talk yourself out of taking action, and that's exactly what happens. Because your belief system told you that you were not deserving of the desire, rather than because the dream was hard to achieve. The way the mind operates is that it looks for things that are safe, familiar, and comfortable. Nevertheless, success does not reside there. At the very edge of risk, suffering, and effort is where success can be found. This is the terrain that your survival brain will do all in its power to avoid. A great number of individuals spend years, and in some cases even decades, living below their potential. This is not because they are lacking in talent, resources, or opportunities. Rather, it is because they let fear dictate their behavior. Every action is overthought by them. They make sure to wait until the right moment. They allow imposter syndrome to murmur that they are not attractive enough, inexperienced enough, or educated enough to be considered adequate. Because of this, they remain motionless and play a minor role while time passes. The truth is that no one will ever tell you this. Your thoughts are a lie. Of course, not every one of them. The ones that are founded on fear and humiliation, however, were you the ones who advised you to hold off until you were ready? They do not represent the voice of wisdom. Rather, they are the reverberation of traumas, outdated narratives, and the programming of society. When you continue to think in the same way that has kept you stuck, you will never be able to establish a life that has significance. There is always going to be a reason for the mind to be hesitant. If you are too old, too young, too late, or too early, it will tell you that you are in the wrong, because it had already been done by someone else more effectively. It is important to remember to be thankful for what you have, even if it is causing you to feel miserable. If you put yourself in danger of failing, you are a fool. But here's the thing. All of the people you look up to, all of the people who have achieved success, that have established something, or that have become someone, they had those thoughts as well. Simply put, they did not allow such ideas to affect the activities that they took. Being able to control your mind does not mean getting rid of fear. Rather, it involves taking action despite it. To do so requires to differentiate between the noise and the truth. In other words, it implies acknowledging that self-assurance is not a precondition. Rather, it is a consequence of consistently engaging in challenging activities, even when one does not feel prepared to do so. Instead of engaging in excessive analysis, you should demonstrate to yourself that you are capable of doing anything. You have a really powerful mind. Any of your deadliest adversaries or your best ally can be an option. The same imagination that might cause anxiety can also facilitate the development of vision. One can train oneself to recognize opportunities using the same focus that is used to zero in on difficulties. However, this transition does not occur by itself. Rather, it requires conscious effort. it is necessary to unlearn. Deciding to choose bravery above comfort requires constant self-discipline. This is not the finish line for success. This is a series of decisions that were made in the face of uncertainty. When you are trying to conceal yourself, it emerges. You should publish your work even if you are afraid of receiving criticism. It is applying for a position for which you are certain that you do not meet the requirements. The act of launching the project even though it is not yet perfect. Overcoming the part of your mind that will tell you you can't is necessary for every step that you take forward. If you give in to the voice that encourages you to shrink, you will never be able to become the person you were always meant to be. Consequently, you should ask yourself, how many times have you prevented yourself from being rejected by the world before it even had a chance to do so? In what ways has your fear of failing prevented you from ever attempting something? Could you imagine what your life would be like if, for a change, you decided to continue forward regardless of the voice that was in your head? Learn the truth. You owe it to yourself to do so. Mostly because at the end of your life, it will not be the risks that you took that will haunt you. Rather, it will be the opportunities that you did not take because you allowed doubt to determine your fate. Don't allow that to take place. In your one limited and unrepeatable life, you should not waste your time fighting defense against your thinking. Strive to succeed. Take a step forward. Arrive sloppily if you have to. Do it anyhow. Your future self is looking at you, and they are counting on you to stop thinking and begin turning into the person you want to be. The realization that no one else can complete this task for you is arguably the most difficult aspect to swallow. Other people can inspire you, provide support, and even believe in you. Yet if you do not believe in yourself, none of this will stick. You have to figure out how to advocate for yourself. Every morning when you wake up, you must make the conscious decision to confront the narrative that you have been telling yourself. It is necessary to confront the voice that asks, "Why even try?" and respond to it by doing some kind of action. This has nothing to do with pretending that everything is good or engaging in poisonous positivity. I would appreciate it if you would take a moment to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below if you found this message to be meaningful. Please share with us. What is the one thing that your mind has been preventing you from doing? And what are you going to do today to correct this situation? Let's both work together to end the pattern.